Welcome back, everybody, to Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jess.
And we're here to talk about some more nostalgia fuel. Except this time, it's yours.
Yeah. I remember playing this game before middle school. Like, it was... It's one of those games that you think about, and it just brings back a lot of childhood memories. And you know how sometimes there's a movie or a video game that's connected to a lot of those memories, and it's really nostalgic, and you really want to play it again because you remember it being so good, and then you replay it, and it's really bad.
That's most of the things. That's most of nostalgia, period.
Well, this is not one of them.
Oh, okay.
This is one that is connected to a lot of, like, nostalgic feelings, but is also really good still.
I want to, like, be goofy and jest and say it's probably trash as well, except I've played it multiple times, and it's not. It's good. It's
good. It just is good.
Yeah, it's damn good. It's good stuff. But not beating around the bush, we're here to talk about Jak and Daxter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I've played this a few times here and there. I've definitely beat all three of the games, just the three, because the other ones don't exist, or at least they shouldn't. And I found I had a great old time. But you have taken things a little farther. I don't think I've ever 100%ed a single game ever, but you've 100%ed multiples of these games. Beyond 100% even.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know was a thing.
101% on Jak 1. Yeah, Jak and Daxter 1.
Wow. Is that like a built-in, or is that like an accidental thing? I don't even understand.
I don't know. Maybe it was like, you've played this game so many times, we're just gonna give you one more point. Maybe
so. I know that in, what is it? Castlevania, the old one, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's the one. You can get 200% complete. Because there's two different maps. And it's like, you beat the first map, that's 100%. Here's the second map, that's another 100%. I don't think they knew what percentages actually were, but that's not really the point.
Are you a completionist?
No.
Do you like getting that 100%?
I mean, I've never done it in any game that I can think of. The closest I've gotten to a completionist game is Mass Effect, and that isn't a completionist game. You can't really get everything and do everything. I just played it enough times that I've gotten the perfect ending for exactly what I want. That's about it.
Well, I don't know. I like collecting things, I guess, because I don't like leaving things undone, I guess.
Which, I mean, that is like the epitome of like older, early 2000s video games. The Spyro and the Crash Bandicoot and the Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, all of it is just this big collect-a-thon of nonsense while you do other stuff in the background.
So, do you want to just start talking about it?
Yeah. So, I know you've been doing some like actual research into it because
it's weirdly enough been a while since I played it. Normally I play it at least once a month or once every few months.
Yeah, it's been almost half a year since the last time you played Jak and Daxter. Half a year.
So, I had to recap a little. So, I went on YouTube to find some sort of recap of the three video games. And I found just a lot of, like, people playing through it in 6 hours or, like, talking about things that they thought about it or whatever. But this video is by Akady. I'm not sure. It starts with an X. Xackadee. But
we'll put links and stuff in the description and throw up their YouTube thing right here.
It was really helpful, and he's kind of funny, so it wasn't boring to watch. It was 30 minutes long, and I did watch it because I just really liked Jak and Daxter, and some of the stuff I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. But I don't think we're going to go into super hardcore, detailed stuff about it. If you want to know anything about the plot that maybe we don't talk about or we don't get to, you should look this video up and watch it if you're interested, or just play the game. Just play the game. But yeah.
So
Jak 1?
Yes, that's the one before he got his voice, while he was
Yes.
still a silent protagonist.
He's the classic silent protagonist.
Yes. Oh gosh. You know the funny thing is, I played 2 and 3 long before I played number 1.
Which is wild.
I don't know. I went to Blockbuster, that thing that still exists.
Isn't there like one left in like
There-
Alaska?
There's literally one Blockbuster left that hasn't been torn
Man,
down.
I remember going to Blockbuster with my mom and dad and loving like running around the aisles looking for gems.
Just the right game.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think we're showing our age with even saying that we went to Blockbuster.
Well, I mean, I was little. I was probably like 7. I don't know how old I was.
I think I made it into my early teens at best.
Yeah, I probably made it to like 12 or something.
Yeah, I think I made it 13
It was
or so.
the first time I played Blood Rain.
Ooh.
The first one. First one or second one? I don't know. The one that's not bad. The good one.
Man. But yeah, in the halls of Blockbuster, I was just remember winding my way through all of the different games, all of the PS2 games that I could play, and all the Xbox One or original Xbox. That's a dumb naming system, and fuck anyone who disagrees with me. I'm trying not to swear, so I might bleep that out. I don't know, but I remember walking around and seeing everything. I remember seeing some dumb video game for like Playboy. It was like a Playboy pinball, and the higher your score, the more of the girl was shown, or something like that. Some sort of puzzle game. But I also remember just finding, Jak and Daxter 2, and looking around for number 1, and it was gone. I was like,
because it's the best.
and I just figured, who cares? I'm just gonna take this one and play instead, and I loved it immediately. To be honest, when I first started playing it, it sort of reminded me of like a more cartoony Grand Theft Auto because of the tiny little map that I had. That was like the first time.
The map and the cars, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think if you go straight into number 2, you don't have to necessarily have had played number 1. There might be a little confusion, especially at the end, but
yeah. I mean, I like I said, I didn't play number 1 for a while, and I had an idea that like once everything started, that like these characters know each other, and that's from number 1. And if I want to know their relationship to each other, I should play that or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty well contained. Like it's pretty quickly just like, hey, this is what's going on here. Something bad happened to this guy. You guys like these guys. You guys hate these guys. Go forth and succeed. But number 1 is honestly really different from the later 2, because number 1 has, I don't know, a more childish feel to it.
Yeah, I think it probably started off more as a preteen sort of thing. Like it was probably aimed for more like 13, 14-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was when I played it, so I guess it
Rated
worked.
E for everyone back in the first version. But because like in the first one, you don't have the weaponry that you have in the other 2.
Mm-mm.
You just go around and punch things or spin kick or whatever.
You eventually get powers, but not only if you pick up eco. Which
is actually a really cool part of the game, where it's like there's different zones of this world, and you have to go to each one. Each one has a different kind of eco in it, which is just energy that floats around.
So there's green eco, which to me looks yellow, but it's what heals you, and you can use it sometimes to shoot out of your hands. And there's blue eco, which is basically electricity, makes you run faster. You can open doors with it. And eventually there's more. There's white eco that you use at the end of the game to defeat the boss. But off the top of my head, I don't think there's any more ecos.
Well, there's black eco
in the first one.
Yeah,
dark eco. Yeah,
because that's
but you don't use it in the first one because it can kill you.
Yeah, you just accidentally throw your friend in there.
Yeah, so we skipped by the whole talking about the plot stuff, which is mildly interesting. The gameplay is really fun, but the main point of the game is you're this silent protagonist, Jak, living in this mystical little cute town.
Yeah, very pretty. I would love to live there.
You're not human. It says that Jak is human on the interweb, but He's definitely not human.
They're like furry elf people.
They're not furry.
They're hairier than us.
They just have a lot of hair on their head, I guess.
I don't know. I always thought the texture made it look like they were furry. But maybe I'm just insane.
There's something wrong with your eyes.
Okay.
But the silent dude with, I don't know, flaming yellow hair.
Yeah, he has full, like, shonen protagonist hair.
Like trolls.
Yeah.
Like the troll hair.
He looks like he could be the main character of a Yu-Gi-Oh! movie show.
Oh, I wish. Crossover. But you have been raised by the green sage, who is just some old guy who floats around with a log in his hair. And his daughter, Kira, who's just like this cool mechanic chick who likes to make things. Who is later on like your love interest, sort of.
He's basically your Yoda and she's your Leia, except you're not Luke. You're Han.
Yeah. Just a quiet one, a better one.
Yes.
So you go to Misty Island, which you're not supposed to do. Grandpa told you not to. Don't go.
Grandpa Loghead said don't go.
Yeah, but you go anyway. You're this quiet, mysterious, jock-looking kid, and your friend is this extremely dorky, annoying Daxter.
Yeah, you gotta help me here. I'm assuming it isn't because the fact that it is more of a younger audience for number 1. But in number 2 and 3, I remember them better than I do number 1 because I only think I played it once, to be honest. Is Daxter as horny in number 1 as he is in number 2 and 3?
I don't think so. He does try to flirt and get Kira a few times, but she's like, no, you're furry and small, that's gross. And like that ends that. But
and that's even before he got transformed.
Yeah. But in number 2 and 3, those are less aimed toward like 12-year-olds and more aimed towards like 16 and up. So I think it is rated T.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go to this Misty Island, you beat up some lurkers, which just look like really hairy purple gorillas with like their bodies are gorilla-like.
But their heads
are like
big, right?
Yeah, like frog almost looking. I don't know. They're cool. I like them. You can do a side mission there to get the Muse, which is a cute little golden ferret looking thing.
I always thought that the loopers, or what were they called? Lurkers were like kind of mindless monsters. And then in number 3, you find out that they're
Ollie, you keep skipping around.
I do keep skipping around. I'm sorry. It's just things are actually really cool across the whole franchise. I'm excited.
I know. It's fun. It is a fun game. But yeah, some shenanigans happen. You find some black eco. You throw it at a lurker because he's going to attack you. And then Daxter ends up falling into the dark eco, and he pops out as an ocelot, which is a combination of an otter
and a weasel.
And a weasel. It's called the ocelot for some reason because it's like the two animals mushed together.
I thought an ocelot just was an animal.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
If we find an ocelot on the internet, I'll put a picture up.
Yeah.
Whatever this might be.
But he's really freaked out about that, doesn't like it. You go to the green stage, and he's like, well, of course you did this. I told you not to do it. Of course you did this thing. So you go around the island collecting eggs.
Precursor
orbs. Yeah, eggs, whatever.
Precursor orbs.
I said orbs. And eventually you go to different sage houses. The green sage is like, hey, there's the red sage. I don't remember his name. But him and Mira, his companion of some sort, are supposed to be like the most powerful sages, and like they can help Daxter become human again. But once you finally get to the red sage, it turns out he had been experimenting with dark eco, and now they both, him and his companion, are just full of evil, and they want to just take control of everything and everyone. So you Daxter's pretty bummed because the only guy who can turn him back to normal is the bad guy now.
Mm-hmm.
So you go throughout the whole game, going to different locations in this world.
Yeah, different zones.
Yeah, you go to, off the top of my head, I don't remember the names of each place, but there's like, one place is really rainy and swampy, and then you've got the volcano, you've got icy mountain, then you've got like caves and spiders, which I really don't like that level. But yeah, so yep.
Yeah, and like each one of them has like platforming puzzles that are basically like built around the kind of eco there. Some of them you have to get the blue eco and go like zippity doo-dah fast between these things.
Yes.
And
it was really fun.
Yeah. I think the red eco, which I'm pretty sure was orange, lets you shoot somehow. I think that's the one that lets you shoot.
It's possible. It's probable that that's it. I have to say that sometimes when I'm playing the game, I don't pay a lot of attention to like everything that's going on because I just want to play the game. Mm-hmm. And so I end up either running right through it because I know everything about it. Like I know what I have to do to finish the level.
Yeah, like you've played it so many times that at this point it's been a really long time since you actually like slowed down and read all of the dialogue and all the text.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually like listened and paid attention to the plot. But that's basically number one. You're at the end, you find out, or at the beginning, when you first go to the Red Sage, Green Sage gets kidnapped. And you're freaking out. It's only the three of you now, Kira, Jak, and Daxter. And at the end, you have to rescue all the sages, blue sage, green sage, purple sage, whatever sage. And then you beat the boss. Mm-hmm. You use the white
eco,
the white eco to beat the boss, even though it's the only way Daxter can become human again. He's like kind of disappointed about it, but he's also like, I don't want the world to end. So
I mean, you gotta appreciate Daxter has his priorities.
Yeah.
But yeah, after you beat him, don't you like hang out with Cora and everyone and like put together some sort of portal to the universe or something?
Yeah. Once you defeat Red Sage and his girlfriend, companion, daughter, whoever.
Ooh, two of those are very bad.
Well, I'm just not sure who she is. I'm not sure if she's his daughter or if she's his companion. Like I said, I haven't paid super close attention to the plot in a long time.
Fair enough.
But a portal or a door opens on top of this tower that you're on, and it's a portal, yeah. I don't remember what they call it, but Kira figures out that it works. You can go to different universes or time-space shenanigans in it, but while they're messing around with it, the metalheads come out, which are the sworn enemy to the precursors, I think that's what they're called, who are kind of like the gods of Jak. They are the ones who have made all of these like magical things and all this like tech that they have.
Yeah, like the people, the ancient civilization that existed before so long ago, mm-hmm. that their stuff was somehow better than the current stuff. That's always a pretty fun little trope.
But you're thrown into this portal, and you wake up in Jak and Daxter 2.
Yeah, and there's a real big shift.
Oh yeah, it's not rated E for everyone anymore.
No,
it's rated E for edgy.
It really is. It gets so edgy. Jak even grows a goatee.
Yeah, he has a goatee. He's all gruff and like angsty.
I'm pretty sure he wears
actually
leather.
Got a voice, and it's like really like.
Yeah. Not a little less deep than that, but like, I'm Jak. I'm gonna rough and tough.
Mm-hmm. that's... And Daxter is actually like, I don't know. He's a comedic relief, but he's also like this weird.
He's a slimy little
sexual...
horny. Like he's slimy and he's horny and he's unnecessarily like animalized because of his weird thing, so it's super weird, and I love
So-
it. Honestly, it's really funny.
There are so many. If you go into the world of Jak and Daxter fandom, there are a lot of OCs of people making themselves into an ocelot or into the type of creature Daxter is.
Jack is
Daxter.
okay. Okay.
I mean, yeah, sure, probably Jack too, but just a lot of furries out there wanting to be a tiny little weasel man, and they're actually kind of cool. Some of the art is really good. Some of it I don't want to think about.
Well, I mean, that's the internet for you. For every nugget of goodness, there's just a pool of bad,
A pool of bad.
pool of sadness.
So yeah, once you were through this portal, you were captured by General Praxis. General? I think it's General. General or Colonel? Anyway, Praxis. He's this bad guy who's taken over this city that you're in. You don't know anything about. I don't remember the name of the city, of course.
New Haven?
Yeah, Haven. New Haven. I think it's just Haven.
I think it's Haven, and then in number 3, I think it's New Haven, a different place.
Yeah, probably. But he's been doing experiments on you. This is one of the things I learned from the video. I thought he was just torturing him, but apparently Praxis was torturing him, while also filling him with dark ego because he had been trying to make like super soldiers, and Jack was like the only successful soldier that he created. He didn't realize he was a successful experiment until he escaped. But yeah, apparently he was trying to make super soldiers.
Yeah, that's why Jack has his whole Dark Jack mode.
Yeah. I thought it was just he had the Dark Jack mode because he was filled with angst and dark ego.
You thought he was so angsty, he just created evil.
Yeah, exactly.
Evil Jack. Yeah.
But Daxter finds you, saves you, you escape that little high-tech prison thing, and you're met with Core, I believe. Core, this old wizard Merlin-looking guy, and this little kid wearing a precursor-looking necklace and like a beanie. And some goggles around his neck. I think he's got goggles.
Yes?
I'm not sure. A lot of 90s, early 2000s video games, their characters had goggles on them somewhere.
Somehow, for some reason. Yeah, this definitely takes a lot of like visual aesthetic from those 90s style cartoons and TV shows or whatever else. Like everything looks grungy as heck, and everyone looks cool. Like I like it, but I'm also a product of the 90s.
Yeah.
So like
yeah. So this meeting, at first you think it's coincidental, but in reality Core wanted this to happen. He tells you that the kid is a descendant of Mar, who I guess was a really good friend of the precursors and who had previously been in control of Haven, but once he died, his protege or whatever was kicked out and Praxis took over.
1 second. Protege. Protege is like student. Just a small thing.
People say it both ways.
I mean, they're 2 different words.
Okay, then what are the differences? Quick English lesson here.
Protege, I'm pretty sure it's with a T, is your student, your apprentice. Your prodigy is your children.
Yeah, I think it's the second one.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
Cool. Got it.
So Mar, he was like, this super. He was basically like, if Mar was Odin, then his son was, Thor.
Yeah.
So Mar dies and leaves Thor, his kid. We don't know who he is. We don't know his name. We don't know anything about him.
Yeah, he's just like the prince or whatever.
We just know that he was thrown out, and Praxis took over. He wants you to help him with his kid, protect him, get him somewhere safe.
Maybe lead an uprising?
Yeah. And, you are connected after that with the uprising, with the underground people who are run by the Shadow, who you don't know who that is yet.
Yet?
I don't remember anyone's name, even though I just watched a recap video. But you meet tattoo angsty biker boy, who runs the underground.
Yeah.
With his equally angsty tattoo girlfriend.
Yeah, and
Ashlyn. I don't remember his name though.
And there's this weird dynamic where like she's kind of into you and Jack's kind of into her. And
yeah, but like
then like there's tension between him and the other guy, and it's like
because obviously her and the other guy have been
they have relations of some kind.
Yeah, and
it's really weird, and like I'm not against it. Like the romance in Jak and Daxter, I keep using air quotes, but like these are very loose terms. But the romance in Jak and Daxter just kind of like it happens in the background.
Yeah, they Jack and Kira almost kiss like 3 times. Actually, like, yeah. They almost kiss at the end of number 1. They almost kiss at the end of number 2. Almost kiss at the end of number 3. And actually do kiss in, what is it? A Jak X, the racing car game.
Really? That's the one?
That's the one. So if you want to see them kiss, you have to play the racing one. Which surprisingly does have, like, an actual plot. Not heavy. It's really not complicated plot. We'll get there.
But no, I remember this because like the actual map layout of Haven is really twisted and convoluted.
It's so complicated.
So like I remember having these little like chase sequences where I would get chased by the cops because that's something you do in this game is avoid the cops because you're part of the revolution, and like trying to get to the base so I could walk inside and lose all of the cops who were chasing me, and just not like. The green dot is right there, and I can't figure out how the hell I'm supposed to get over there. Just like, that's a wall, everywhere's a freaking wall. It was...
Or you're going in circles.
Yeah, and the worst part is there's sometimes, like, not sewer levels, but like, underground levels, or like, there's 3-dimensionality to it. It's not just...
Yeah, like, there's a normal, regular road, and there's like a highway. It's like above it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it was always just a bit much. But eventually you get used to it near like, I don't know, the 17th hour of the game. You're like, oh, I know where I'm going now.
And driving around in those cars, they're like hover cars, so you can either drive on the ground or up in the sky, which is also where all the traffic is. And I would always want to drive on the ground because it was faster. You weren't bumping into other cars, but you were also bumping into humans, whatever, elves.
Which you could just kill them. Like, they're civilians, and you could straight road murder them.
And if you murdered them, the cops would come after you.
It was Grand Theft Auto. I swear to God. It was
Fantasy Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
GTA 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know what number they're on. But yeah, you go on some missions for them, so that you can get your revenge on Praxis. You meet Kira. She turns out to be a mechanic for the underground uprising, who she's working on like the hoverboards and stuff. And you're like, oh, hey, I know you. And she's like, oh, hey, Jack, I've been working on a way to get us out of here. I'm glad you were able to find me because I wasn't looking for you.
No, she was not. Hey, she had to figure out a way to survive in this world, okay?
That's true. This is also when you get your hoverboard, which is really fun.
Oh, it's
so slow, though.
Very slow, unless you do neat tricks.
That's true.
It's still, like, it's fun, but it is honestly just not worth the time to try and get from place to place using it. It's not effective. Mm-hmm. It's just nice and fun.
Yeah. You can jump on people's heads with it, though, which is also fun.
Despite the fact that, again, I think the 4th time I've said it, it's fun. I never really enjoyed the skate levels where you had to just become, I don't know, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 for a minute and do some neat tricks and get some scores for whatever, because I was never good at it.
Yeah, but that was so that you could, at first it was so you could train, so you knew how to use a tutorial to use the hoverboard. And then it was like, hey, show me that you're actually good enough at this to let me give it to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wasn't.
Well, shortly after that, you meet up with this old lady who lives in a tent in the middle of a merchant zone. I don't know her name.
Madam something?
But I know Pecker. He's the parrot monkey.
That was
there's a name for it in game, but I don't remember. I'm gonna say that a lot. I don't remember. But he's really annoying.
Oh yeah, he's the worst. He's like just the crappiest version of Iago to ever exist.
He basically is, yeah.
And he's the mouthpiece for Madame Zeroni. That's not her name, but that's the one that comes to mind.
We call her that a lot, though, even when we're playing the game.
But yeah, he's like the mouthpiece because she can't talk. She just has these like whited out eyes, and
she's very mystical.
Summons smoke.
Very like
voodoo?
No. I want to say a word that's very outdated. I'm trying to use the other one. Roman?
Yeah.
Roman?
Not Roman.
No.
Romani.
Romani, yeah. That was in my head. I was going to say it, but I was like, that sounds wrong. That's ramen.
Jeez.
That doesn't sound right. But I guess it was.
Yeah, like it's definitely that old, that aesthetic, that style, which is a bit outdated nowadays, but it still was a very interesting visual aesthetic, and it also plays into that whole voodoo style of like priest lady who can see the future and the blah blah blah, connect to the universe.
Yeah.
She was nice. Hated her entire shtick because it was just a rhythm game.
I think those are fun.
I hate rhythm games so much.
They're fun. I like them. But Pecker comes along with you once in a while.
Yeah, I could do without that too.
Yeah. But he's useful, I guess. He tells you what you need to know. You also meet big fat guy on a little hovering car. Somehow
a grosser, more like perverted version of Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he owns this bar that Tess works at, and she's undercover. I think that's how you meet him. But he knows a lot of underground stuff. That's why you need him. He gives you information if you do quests for him.
Yep. Gets to hook up with the guns, too.
Yeah. And Tess is, like, his assistant. She works there with him. And she's also a part of the uprising. And she weirdly likes Daxter.
Yeah, she's like the trademark hot girl.
Yeah.
And she's just like, this furry little weasel man.
Well,
literal weasel man.
I think at first she's just kind of like, oh, he's a cute little thing. Look at him trying to hit on me. But then by the end of the game, she's like into it.
Yeah, yeah. It comes to a satisfying end for their story arc.
Yeah. With
whatever revelations come up in number 3. So, we'll worry about that later. But for now, it's just kind of a weird relationship.
Yeah. And then you've got a lot of missions for them. I forgot. Somewhere in there, you go on a mission and you meet Sig.
Yeah.
He's dope.
He's just the biggest, blackest man with the biggest fucking gun. I love him.
He's from the Wastelands.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a big guy with a lot of armor, big guns. He knows what he's doing.
He's basically got Samus's arm rifle, except it's just a gun.
Yeah, basically.
So cool.
Eventually you find out that Praxis was working with the metalheads to make the people in the town feel like they were being protected by him. Like, hey, we'll give you this eco if you attack the town only a little bit, enough so that we can, like, fend you off, and the people will be like, oh, Praxis, you're the best,
Yeah, he was stoking public fear so he could be elected again, sort of like people we know in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, one of the things I want to mention before we finish off with the story of number 2, because we're getting that's pretty much the majority of it is just...
Yeah, we're almost there. We're about halfway.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the core gameplay of number 2 is still pretty similar to number 1.
Yeah.
There's less to do with all the different ecos, because apparently all of them disappeared except Dark Eco somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Some global warming shit happened.
Well, you have your Dark Eco powers that you now have. There's a lot to do with that, and now you have guns.
Oh yeah, and the guns are really cool. They start off, real basic. One's a little shotgun, one's a little rapid fire rifle, and one's, I don't know, like an electrical or like a super Gatling gun.
Mm-hmm.
And you can upgrade them and
One
do
of my
neat things.
one of my favorite things to do was that Jack, he has this move all throughout the games where he can just spin around.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do, if like I was being ganged up on, was to jump, spin around, and shoot at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was just like a shower of a ring of bullets. It was nice.
Yeah. One of the gun upgrades lets you just do that with like with a shot that you shoot out. It's just a circular ring that shoots that. I would do that and then do it myself. And it was just, it would be
But that
really
was very
effective.
slow.
Yeah. I mean, yours was faster, but it was also helpful. Just like
Yeah.
another ring of death.
I'm not much of a shotgun person in any game. They're just so slow. Like, they're super powerful. I get why you'd want to use one, but they're so slow.
Oh, no. I meant the yellow one. It shoots a ring up and shoots in circles.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the red one.
Honestly, never use that. It takes too long to load, and it just kind of hurts things a little bit.
Yeah. I like the one that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's like a turret almost.
Yeah. Except it does the same thing you do when you spin and shoot. So I would use that at the same time, and it was useful.
Yeah.
Pro tips from from us here. That the main game in play is basically just you keep getting given odd jobs to go out into the badlands of this area where all of the decayed buildings are and all of the metalhead monsters are running around and eating things, and people and monsters are everywhere. And you shoot them, kill them, and find, whatever your goal is and bring it back to whoever needs it. It's basically a bunch of fetch quests, except all of them actually involve something to do with the plot, or you learn a little something about this and that. It's convenient, it's useful, and I think it's worked really well into the gameplay.
Mm-hmm. They put a lot of mini games in there too to balance it, I think.
Yeah, and admittedly, I'm not in love with the mini games, but that's because I'm bad at all of the mini games. Just never been my jam. Rhythm games, god awful.
I'm sorry. It's getting later in the day, and my energy level is quickly dropping.
Slowly dying.
I gotta be careful. I actually put makeup on today, just before this, actually, because I was like, I've not looked the best in these videos, so I'm gonna try to spruce up. But, like, I never wear makeup, so I like to wipe my eyes, and you can't do that when you have makeup. At least when you have this cheap makeup that I own.
I mean, we could get you the, good stuff.
That's okay, because then I would only use it, like, twice a year, and it wouldn't make any sense. Anyway.
Yeah, back to the game.
So, shoot, where are we? Okay.
We had just met Big Fatso and Sig, and I believe he's the one who, or Sid? Sig? Yeah, and he's the one who kind of is in charge of the gun range.
Yeah. So, you've met all these people, you've been doing all these missions, Praxis is the bad guy. You eventually beat him up and kill him.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Maybe...
Well, you don't kill him. You beat him up, and then you leave, and you go to. It's not like the sewer. It's just outside of the city, and you see the hut from number 1 that the Green Sage used to live in, and Jack and the player, I guess, realize that, hey, I'm in the future. This is the future of the little village from number 1, but the metalheads have taken over. Mm-hmm. This is what happened.
Yeah, and the whole revelation of it's the future or whatever is weirdly like concealed. They make it seem like maybe this is a different world or super far into the past, or any of those things. Because when you go to the underground and meet the Shadow, it's the Green Sage. Except
for young him.
Yeah. So they make it seem like, way long in the past, everything was different.
Everything was futuristic in the past? What's happening?
And somehow the Sage doesn't remember things.
I remember being super confused about that when I was little, and then just not paying attention to the plot because I was like, okay, I don't understand this. I'm 12 and I just want to play the game. And then later on, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting.
No, weirdly ambitious time travel storyline.
Yeah.
It's surprising, but yeah, for the longest time, it's like, this is the weird futuristic past, and something happens to the sage to make him forget things, and blah blah blah.
It was very weird.
And then you find out it's not the past; it's the super future.
Yeah.
And the sage is from the future.
Yes. So after you beat up Praxis, you like have to go to this, I don't know, highly dangerous motorcycle race game, and Praxis, his like right hand guy, it has been like your enemy throughout the whole thing. Like he really hates you.
Yeah,
and
like
you end up facing him in the race.
Yeah, he's been your Zuko for a while, but not the good kind that's like redeemable, just the kind that's a prick.
Yeah, like, and then you race. He gets blown up because he gets mad at you and drives into a pile of dark eco.
Yep, yeah, it's its own fault.
And then I forget how, but you end up meeting up with Kor again, the old Merlin wizard man, and he gets really mad. And he's like, he's betrayed you because it turns out he is actually the leader of the metalheads, and he turns into this giant. I don't even know. A metalhead. I wouldn't even know how to describe it to people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, I wish I could help, but I don't remember any of this.
I only remember because I watched the recap.
My memory goes as far back as everything having to do with like the underground and getting to the fight with the other guy and the explosion of what's his face.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, there's more. I remember that guy being bad, but I don't remember the rest of this.
Well, he's the one who finally kills Praxis. Then you kill him, or at least you fend him off. I'm trying to figure things out in my head as I'm talking about them, which is probably really complicated for the people listening, but it's complicated for me too. So, and then you have to go beat up the big fat man because he has also betrayed you. He's put a bomb. Oh.
Okay, here's the key. What were we missing?
Okay. Praxis was looking for the precursor egg, which there was a precursor inside of it.
Oh.
Yes. So, he wanted that because he thought it would get rid of the metalheads once and for all and give him power. So, you beat up the black guy. Jeez, oh, Pete.
Baby. Baby. How could you?
I'm living in the 20s. Okay, so you beat up the big guy because he's planted a bomb on top of the egg, I believe, or on top of this tower. Gosh, guys, if you want details, you're going to have to look it up because I'm all over the place and I don't want to make it too complicated. Basically, you beat him up, things explode, you get away with Ashlyn, and then what do you do? You know what? It's a cliffhanger.
Okay, so you might have to cut this bit out because I'm going to ask you some questions. There's some things I can't remember. I remember slightly everybody betrays you and you do all this stuff to like try and figure out what's going on. But at the end of number 2, after you've dealt with all the betrayals and all the things, a good chunk of the city has been destroyed or whatever because of a metalhead invasion.
Yes.
While you were fighting off the other metalhead bad guy and all this other stuff. And you fight like the big metalhead monster or whatnot. But at the end of number 2, isn't there another portal that opens up?
At the end of number 2?
Yes.
No. There is already a portal. Hold on. I'm getting it right now. It's coming into me now.
This just in.
Yeah. So. Oh, Crew. That's the fat guy's name. His name is Crew. Okay. So he builds a bomb strong enough to release the stone's energy, but is killed when Jak detonates the bomb prematurely. So Vin. Vin is the tattoo angsty motorcycle boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess he dies. I didn't remember that he died.
Me neither.
Huh.
I thought he didn't die because in number 3, you get banished to the wastelands, and I thought he was the one that did it to you.
No, it was the girl, Ashlyn.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so after her, Praxis is killed by Core. The Baron. Oh, it's Baron, not General. Baron. Baron Praxis, says that he wants Jak to take the precursor stone and save the city. So the Crimson Guard, which is like basically the cops of Haven, they're trying to stop the invasion of the Metalheads. So you go into the nest to like get rid of what needs to be getting rid of, like to stop the invasion.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems okay, so this is where you find out that that Jak is the little boy that you were trying to protect and save.
Yeah, this is where I thought number 2 ended.
Yeah. So Green Sage and Old Sage are there. We've skipped a lot of stuff that I don't remember.
Yeah.
Slogan of this episode. I don't remember.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, while you're with the Green Sage and the young kid, you find an older version of the Green Sage you remember, the one who remembers you.
Yeah.
And you realize, this is the time shenanigans that were going on. I think you actually meet him in the dilapidated house that you find in the bad area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gives away the whole time travel shtick. And near the end of the story, the Green Sage, the older Green Sage, reveals, I believe he's the one that reveals it because he, lived through it already, that the kid, the prince, the Mars prodigy.
It's not Mars' kid. It's like Mars' grandson.
Okay. Yeah, his grandson, the kid you've been protecting, it's been Jak the whole time.
Ugh.
Baby Jak. You take off his little beanie and it's weirdly yellow, spiky hair.
You should cut out everything that I've said and just put the stuff in you said.
Just for the whole show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you said it much better than I did. I am not good at words.
You figure it all out.
Which is convenient because I'm on a podcast.
But yeah, once that all happens and once all of the betrayals and shenanigans occurs, you fight this big metalhead final boss, finish him, and another portal opens up, and you, the older sage, and I believe your love interest girl are there, and basically deciding, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We have to send this kid and young Green Sage back in time. Back in time.
Back in time, so this whole thing can happen again, and we can be here.
We could be here when we're supposed to be, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which is freaking hilarious. Like, I'm not a big fan of time travel plots and shticks. They're usually kind of bad, but this was actually pretty good. And it was pretty funny because, like, it was kind of unexpected. They did a pretty decent job with it. They did a lot of red herrings regarding, like, which direction the time travel goes in. And then at the end of it, it's like, all you have to do to save the world, more or less, is just keep the time loop stable. He's got to keep doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I dug it. I dig it. I was a big fan.
Yeah. And then you just go live in Haven City.
Yeah, for a little bit.
For a little while. Until the third game, where they have to blame this stuff on someone, so they blame it on Jak.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, with all the betrayals and all the explosions, I believe he did let in all the metalheads, like, unintentionally. Like, due to his fighting, the invasion of the metalheads occurred, and a bunch of people died. So they're like, Jak, we love you, man. You saved, us from a dictator, but also you got a bunch of people killed. Bye.
Yeah. So Ashlyn, who you find out earlier is Praxis' daughter, has taken over. And she's like, I'm really sorry, I don't really have a a hand in this. I can't
Yeah.
do anything about it.
Unfortunate for you. Lucky for the city, but unfortunate for you. She's a lot less dictatory and more democracy style.
Mm-hmm.
So you're crap out of luck.
You get thrown out into the wasteland, and she gives you this beacon or whatever that you push, and Damus, I think
that's right.
Damus comes and gets you, and he's the ruler of this wasteland village city town of people who have been outcast from Haven.
Yeah, and they're all real dope looking. They all look like they all do carry massive guns.
Yeah, it's very Mad Max almost.
Yeah, and they all look a lot like Sig regarding his armor. They all have that same armor that looks like it's made from the bits and pieces of metalhead bones. It's really cool.
Yeah. To prove yourself, he puts you into like this arena, and you have to beat up all these guys. And this is basically like a tutorial for this area. Yeah. And the new weapons and stuff that they have.
It's more, honestly, like a refresher. Like, hey, it's been like 2 years since we put out a game. Here's all the buttons. Here's the things you have to do. And this is how you fight. All right, cool. Let's get back to the game.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Also, somehow, Monkey Iago has followed you to this place. I don't remember...
Spargus?
Spargus?
Yeah, Spargus is the name of the place.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever knew that. But yeah, you're once you're in Spargus, once you complete these this trial or whatever, you get given citizenship so you can come and go and do what you need to do in the city. And that mostly consists of doing odd jobs and going out into the wastelands and slowly collecting your life and putting yourself back together. Because like the beginning of this game doesn't start off with you woke up and now you're angry and you have this internalized like desire to do a quest to get your revenge. It's more just like, well, I'm the hero, and now I got kicked out. I guess I just gotta survive now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more like aimless and a lot more what's going on. And as you go through all of the side quests and all of the go here, do this. Oh, you want to learn how to drive? Let's learn how to drive and fight these massive monsters with these big turret guns on these interesting vehicles. You start realizing that there's more of a mystery. Like you start finding like ruins to the precursors and this weird cult of monks that are all about the precursors and their whatever else, and some other race of like evil precursors or something.
Yeah. So you go to a temple, a precursor temple, and an oracle comes to you who is just like this bright light of an elf. I'm calling them elves.
They're elves.
And it tells you they're gonna give you this light eco to balance your darkness. And then it also gives you some powers, like you can fly and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, you can grow. You get all white just like them and grow wings and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's only if you're like completely full of it, though. I think. You know what I mean. You can slow time, heal. You have a shield ability. But this precursor tells you that it believes you are the last hope for civilization.
Yet again.
So,
I'm loving it.
Ashlyn comes along and she's like, hey, I want you to come back.
Mm-hmm.
We need your help.
Yep, more weird political things are happening and more metalhead nonsense and bad things are happening to the town. And damn it, we need our hero that we have shunned.
Yeah, because Count Viger, whatever, he is just like one of the people in the town council of Haven. He has
the new legislation.
Not so great plans for Jack's friends, and he's like, maybe I will show up. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want my pals to be murdered.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't come with me or anything, but I guess I'll save them anyways.
Yeah. So.
Also, this Count Viger, he's in the very beginning intro sequence where you're getting kicked out, and immediately you realize this guy's a bad guy. This guy's a big old prick.
Oh yeah. the minute you see him.
It just radiates evil.
So Haven is split up in sections. There's parts of it that are safe. There's parts of it that are being attacked by metalheads and deathbots, which I'm pretty sure those are just like, robots.
Yeah, I think they're like security bots.
Yeah.
But you're just not supposed to be there, so when they see you, they attack you.
Yes. And then you start meeting up with these weird creatures that are like, if I remember correctly, purpley, and they've got like tentacles and stuff. But they're very kind of. They're metallic. They're like technology looking alien weird things.
Mm-hmm.
You use a precursor telescope, and that's when you see like this giant star that's up there. Some monk tells you it's like an omen, it's gonna destroy us all or whatever. And when you look in the telescope, it turns out it's a dark maker, which is just a precursor that has turned evil.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like a evil space squid or something.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my computer a lot. Number 3 is like... I've played number 3 the least, so, I was not prepared for this. So, that's on me. But the only way to stop this Dark Maker is to activate the planetary defense system at the core of the planet. And so you have to defeat the metalheads and deathbots in Haven City to get down there to the planet core because
you need to. You gotta get the power or whatever.
Yeah.
From the Earth's core.
And it turns out, I believe, that Vagin guy, that he was also trying to get to the core, but I don't remember why.
I think he was trying to communicate with the thing.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to, like, get its power and become one or something.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bad guys just wanted to become evil monsters in this.
Yeah, I don't know why. A lot of villains always want to, I don't know, be the creature that destroys everything or release destruction.
Yeah, they want to become the eldritch monstrosity from, lore or whatever.
Yeah, but if you do that, you're also going to die.
No,
why would you want to do that?
Because they're going to live on forever as monster god.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever. I don't know. It's honestly a lot of games, a lot of movie stories in general have a very, I don't know, unsubtle version of this good versus evil thing, and especially in games like this that are intended for somewhat, middle age or younger audience, not children, but that teen era, kind of have to play with that level of simplicity because like, not saying teenagers are stupid, god no, teenagers are as smart as anyone else, they're just also a lot they're also a lot more likely to see the world in these stark contrasts, so a lot of their media is formatted in the white and black and the good evil sort of dynamic rather than the grays that we see later on. Not 50 Shades of them, though.
No.
So yeah, that's definitely a thing that you get from number 3, more so than number 2 or anything. Because number 2, it seems a lot more like there's a weird amount of political intrigue going on. There's an evil count. There's like his revolutionary daughter. There's an underground rebel faction. There's all this nonsense going on. But number 3 definitely, like, becomes a little more Destiny based.
Yeah.
Like number 1 had.
You have to do this.
Yeah. Like number 1 is a bit, or number 2 is a little bit like, oh, you have a destiny because like you're in a time loop that you have to fulfill. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to do the thing you just did. But other than that, like that's sort of a self-made destiny. Mm-hmm. So that's, I don't know, more nuanced than number 3. I don't think number 3 is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying its story, because number 1 and 2 were so much more connected to each other. it had to just kind of install a new evil and figure out a way to resolve that entire plot within itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just big ancient evil coming. Someone's a dick and decides, I'm going to be part of this team.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to beat him up.
Forgot to mention that Sig was a spy for, what's this place called again? Spargus. He was a spy for Spargus to get more information on the Baron and Haven and everything that's going on there. So he's from the Wasteland.
Mm-hmm. Which makes a whole lot of sense because of the way he looks.
Yeah. So you go to the core. Damas comes with you. Well, you're on your way to the core, and he comes with you. Mm-hmm. But you meet up with Vigor again. Mm-hmm. You are battling in a car, in like one of those motor hovery things, and at the end of the battle, Damas gets crushed.
Yeah, and I think he does die in this, right?
Yes.
Because like while he's dying, he like drops a medallion or something, and Jack is like sad to see this guy die because like despite the fact that they've had some antagonistic behavior, the guy has so far been like, hey, here's another job, here's a new gig. Also, you're doing great, man. You're kicking ass, whatever, supporting him, even if he's being kind of a jerk sometimes. So Jack's like, yeah, you're a cool guy, whatever. And now he's dying, so he feels bad, and he's notices this thing, this medallion, and he's realizing it's the same as his own.
Mm-hmm.
And
or the little kid.
Yes, which I believe he's kept.
Yeah.
And he realizes that through this medallion, this guy is linked to him, and through just a couple of words, I realized that's Jack's dad.
Yeah, he says he tells him that he needs to find his dying words are like, find my son. Mm-hmm. But you realize, oh shoot, I'm right here. Like,
what up?
I can't tell you that because you're dead now, but I'm gonna beat up Vega, whatever the heck.
Yep. Vegan.
I'm gonna beat up Vegan now.
I'm gonna beat up the vegan. Jeez. Yeah, it's honestly really sad. Like, there hasn't really been a whole lot of like.
It's actually emotional.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, number 1 and 2 were great, but there weren't really as many like kind of emotionally jarring moments. Mm-hmm. And this actually was pretty like, oh damn, he was so close to finding his son. So just everything was so close, and just didn't happen, and it was a little depressing.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough to watch and to play, and when you find out that Vaggie is, he knew, he knew that you were his son, you get really angry because he's the one who kidnapped you, basically, and took you to Haven City to start all this nonsense.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't recall what the final fight with him is, but I think a number of times throughout and in near this final section, you fight your rival from the number 2, the Baron's right-hand man. He's come back in this weird, like, mechanized, half robot, half man, evil Terminator thing.
Yeah. So that happens, but first, the precursor tells you that. When you get to the core, they're like, hey, he's evolved into something not good. This Errol is the name of the new cyborg man. And then you Atzels. That's what they're called.
Atzels.
What did I call them? Isn't that what I was calling them?
No, you're calling them ocelots, which I think is an actual animal.
Yeah, I think that. They're Atzels. Otter and something squirrel. Who knows? Definitely not squirrel. But you and Vigor find out that the precursors are like the Wizard of Oz, like the man behind the curtain, are just Atzels.
Yeah, they put on this big show because they're really technologically advanced, and make it seem like we're these angelic energy beings.
Yeah, and if people know we're just Otzels, they're not gonna like
Be scared of us or reverent of us. We're weasel people.
Yeah. And then Viger is turned into an Otzel and taken prisoner by them, and eventually he becomes not like the slave, but the assistant unwillingly to the guy who was giving you all these cars and stuff during the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you try to get into the spaceship.
Oh yeah, because there's a bunch of weird aliens in there, and I remember dying here a number of times actually. It should be noted that these games aren't particularly easy. Like, there's a lot of times where I just kept dying. But I think that, once in this area, I remember that after you figure out, the Otzels are the precursors, and Daxter's like, holy crap, I'm a precursor, blah ha ha, isn't that so cool? And his girlfriend, like, this is skipping to the end, but who cares?
Yeah, we're already there.
Yeah, his girlfriend gets turned into an Otzel, him.
Like, they could turn him back into his elfy self, but instead he just asks for pants.
Yeah, and then his girlfriend decides to become an Otzel, and then they have Otzel sex.
I mean, probably. Ugh. It doesn't show you it. It's a child's game.
A teenager's game. But yeah, that's the wrap up to that long and emotionally satisfying story of Daxter and his girlfriend.
Sig becomes leader of Spargus.
Mm-hmm.
They offer you, Jak, a chance to go into space and travel around and do a bunch of adventures. Daxter stays behind, and
I think he runs the bar.
Well, at the end, you're like, you think Jak has gone to space, but he actually shows up, and he's like, I couldn't leave without you, Daxter.
Aww.
I love you. We have so many adventures ahead. But yeah, he probably does run the bar.
But yeah, after, all of that stuff, after he fights off the evil alien ship, which I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the final boss. It wasn't super memorable. Not as much so as, like, number 1 or 2. But you fight him off and save the day, and the precursors reward you with all these things, with Daxter's girlfriend becoming an Otzel, with Daxter getting pants for some reason, with just the ability to travel the world, or space. And it just ends on a real cute note with this scene of Jak and Daxter and their pals all gathered in the bar that fat Jabba the Hutt motherfucker used to own, except they're in charge now, and they're just living their best life.
Yeah.
Then there's Jak X, which we're not going to talk about. It's a racing game.
It's not bad. It has a small plot of Crew. Crew had a daughter. You meet up with her because she's reading his will, and apparently you're in it or something, and you all cheers and drink this liquid, which, I don't know, wine or whatever, but a hologram of Crew shows up, and he's like, it's poison! I need you all to win this race, and win the antidote, and, like, money or something. And there's a lot of, like, mob stuff going on. I don't know, I've never played that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the end of it all. There is one more game, but we will not talk about it. It wasn't made by Naughty Dog.
It wasn't even on the PS2, it was on the PSP.
Yeah, it was animated really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Different voice actors and stuff. It was just not good. You don't need to worry about it. But Jak and Daxter is available on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and like a value pack. And also, I believe on PlayStation 4 in a value pack.
Yeah. It comes with all 4 of the games, of the main story-based games.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's definitely maybe a little bit expensive for a one-time purchase, but like it's 4 games.
Yeah,
It's pretty worth it.
It's cheaper than buying each game separately.
Yes. And it's, like I said, each of the games are genuinely really good.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the 4th one, which is okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly recommend it. If you haven't somehow played this game, which you might not have if you're under the age of, I don't know, 20. So if you are the person who hasn't played this game yet, the cartoonish style of it and the fact that it has been touched up here and there for the PS3 and the PS4 releases means that even though it's old, it still looks pretty okay and it plays pretty great. The camera is a little iffy, but that's just a Naughty Dog thing.
Yeah.
Like even in the Uncharted games, which are, you know, a lot more recent, their camera work is craptastic, and that has not been that hasn't changed. It's been the same.
Yeah. Oh, so what I've learned is that Jak and Daxter is
Jak and Daxter. They're gonna go to the lab.
Is probably my favorite game. I played it a lot. But also I don't know much about it. I've realized.
Well, at this point you've played it so much and it's like such a familiar thing that you play it on like muscle memory. Like it's a reflexive thing to play. You don't actually have to like get into it. You just relax and play.
I suppose so.
There's plenty of there's plenty of goodness in that. There's the fact that, you know, you haven't paid attention in a very, you know, focused way in a while. That's not great, but it's not bad. Anyways, I basically gave my final summation. I think it's a great game and you should go play it. Mm-hmm. What about you? Like, I know you're a little hung up on the fact that, you know, you don't remember it even though you play it pretty often. But
which is weird.
But despite that, genuinely, what do you feel about this game?
I think it's really good. I think the plot and the gameplay and stuff maybe was a little ahead of its time. Maybe it was better than a lot of other games made in that era. It's definitely grouped in with Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper and all them.
The mascot games.
Which if I had to rank from best to worst, I would definitely go Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and then Sly Cooper.
It depends on the title. Because one of the I think Sly Cooper 2 is way better than all of the Ratchet and Clank games. But in general, Ratchet and Clank was a little better than Sly. You know, this is an argument that we'll have off air.
Yeah, let us know which one you like best. I would definitely tell people to play Jak and Daxter, especially if you want that childhood 90s vibe, or if you just like older looking games. It's definitely, especially the first one, is definitely like PG and like fine for kids to play. Mm-hmm. If you don't like your kids playing games with guns and explosions, don't let them play the other two, I guess.
Or just get over it, like it's fine.
I would definitely recommend it.
Hell yeah.
I also want to apologize for my lack of energy on this video and on the podcast today. I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of tired and drained. I thought I was going to be good. Then we, like, halfway through the episode, I just, like...
It's all right. You it's your day off. Every other day you work with children. Like, it's stressful. It's draining. Luckily... And
it's just hot in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hot in this room.
Maybe one day, if you go to patreon.com and help us out with a little bit of money, we'll be able to get a better studio where it's a little more cool, refreshing. We can do this for longer periods of time and do even more videos about who knows what else.
A better backdrop. You don't have to see our bathroom door.
They don't even know it's the bathroom.
Well, they do now.
Damn it. But yeah, we could have an entire private studio just for this if we just get a little bit of help from everyone and anyone. We would immensely appreciate it. With every donation tier, there's a little bit of reward for you. A $3 tier, we have the remixes, that there's a pretty decently sized catalog. Not a whole lot has come out in quite some time due to the transition between Jess and Cooper as the co-host, but we're going to be working on trying to get a bundle of them out as soon as possible, maybe within the next month or so. We'll keep you informed on that. The Terramahia tabletop game is at almost a playable state that if once it is, we'll put into the $6 tier as a PDF that you can look at and have fun with, and give us some feedback, give us whatever, let us know how you feel about that stuff. Beyond that, you get to recommend, demand episodes. You get to have us give self-promotions to the world, give us a letter to send to someone with our words, or be part of the show and join us via, I don't know, not Skype, because that's ancient and doesn't exist anymore, but Discord or something, and we'll talk about your favorite whatever and have a good time together. If you don't have the ability to do that, we understand, because like I listen to loads of podcasts and I love a lot of them, and I don't have the money to help them because I don't have the money to help myself. But I always try to go on iTunes and give them reviews, and we really appreciate if you did that for us. Just like any
5 stars.
Yes, any 5-star
Preferably.
review would be so helpful.
Yes. It moves us up in the ranks and makes it more likely for us to get more attention from other people so that they know we exist.
The more people know we exist, the more likely we'll get some more support from them, and you're basically doing the advertising for us. Other than that, you can go to Twitter at Cryptid Delta is our Twitter handle, and maybe tweet about the show, talk about judging nerd culture, make that a hashtag, because we haven't, because I don't know how to use Twitter. But do, whatever you can to talk with us and help us out just a little bit, and we would be eternally grateful. But otherwise,
This is it.
yeah, it's been really great talking about this nostalgia fuel, wonderful thing from the early 2000s. It's a great game. Go and play it.
Yeah. Let us know what you think.
Hell
Talk to us. We would love for you guys to give us any sort of feedback.
yeah. There's a good bundle of you that do listen to what we say, and we're more than happy to communicate with everyone. So let us know. But that's it for us.
Yeah.
So, bye.
We love you.